Hey, adventurers. Welcome back to Ascended Fitness, the podcast where I fuse high performance health with some geeky, nerdy shit. I am Garrett, your DM, where I'm going to guide you through the dungeons of nutrition as well as the battlegrounds of real world fitness. On today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into a magic that has always been rumored, and I am here to really set it more into fact. And that magic is reverse dieting. Yes, it's real. It's legit. I've also written a blog post about it where you can check it up on my website that will be dropping now, pretty much. I'll link it down in the notes so you can go check it out. But this episode is for all of you that prefer to listen and to watch if you're on YouTube, rather than just read text, since I'm sure a lot of you are already reading enough on the screen. So let's get into it. What is reverse dieting and how do I do it and why is it important? Well, reverse dieting, it was brought to me by one of my favorite people. And I know not everyone will probably agree with me on him being amazing, but I truly love what he brings to the realm of health and fitness, where, there's a lot of bullshit out there. And he sets it straight through actual legit science. And I am talking about Dr. Lane Norton himself. I have a couple of his books that were given to me by my wonderful girlfriend, and they're amazing. I love them because he puts not only the science into it, but he breaks it down so even people that do not have the background like him or even me can simply understand it. So that's where it was brought to me, and I absolutely love it. Simply because it's an easy approach. If you go online, I have read a lot of posts saying that it's just not useful, it doesn't work, and it's bullshit. And then there's a lot of posts saying that it's absolutely amazing, it's wonderful, and everyone should do it. A lot of back and forth. Me personally, I love it because it's simple, it's easy, and in my mind, it can be really great for the general person. Where if I feel like it's more towards the athletic person, that, professional athletes, not so much. And simply put, because of how simple this is, you don't need any major tools, right? Where when you are a professional athlete, there's a lot that's going into it due to your career, your position, your workout style, everything like that. Whether it's off season, during season, and you're going to have, registered dietitians and coaches and everything, even chefs on your side. So for the general person, amazing. I feel like if it's outside of that realm, probably not the best. And the reason why I say it's amazing because it's simple is that the number one thing I feel that sets people back from maintaining their new goal weight is they jump back into the regular, lifestyle and dieting, that they eat a whole lot more and they go overboard with it. As you're dieting, especially if you're doing much longer than 3-4 months, if you're trying to lose 60 plus pounds kind of thing, let's say even more than that, like 30 plus pounds, because it'll take a lot longer than 12 weeks to lose, like 30 pounds. The longer that you are dieting, there's a lot more stress that is going onto your body. There's going to be a lot of hormonal imbalances through your sex hormones, your hunger hormones, stress hormones, so much going on, right? And when you are doing it for a longer time, there's a lot more being built up, right? So it's very easy to hit your goal weight, finally be like, I finally fucking did it, let's go, I look amazing, this is what I'm picturing, I'm looking amazing, feeling amazing, hell yeah, awesome. But the next step shouldn't be like, okay, just going back to how I was before, because how you were before is what made you gain all the weight, right? where that's where reverse dieting comes in. It's a nice step-by-step process. The way that I break it down is, since you've been going for so long, you don't know your maintenance calories anymore. For the most part, you probably never did. So this is where you get to start to eat a little bit more, find your maintenance calories, and also still have a good chance of losing a little bit more weight and have some body recomposition, right? You're going to be adding in a little bit more fuel to the system so your workouts can flourish and you can be building a lot more strength, a lot more muscle, and lose still a little bit more body fat, which is fantastic. So, pretty much, the easiest way to do it, and the way that I've always did it, is one, you're going to need to be a little bit more tactical with it, right? You're going to need to watch your weight. I still suggest doing weekly weigh-ins. So trying to do weekly weigh-ins. If you're doing more than that, then pick one day out of the week to compare week by week. You're going to be needing a good meal tracker. I use Chronometer or Chronometer, however you pronounce it. The reason why I use it is because, one, it's free. Two, the barcode scanner is free. Little dig at you there, my fitness pal, you cheap little bastards. But I also like it because it tracks all your, not only all your macros, but also all your micros. And I believe, if memory serves me right, that is hidden behind a paywall for MyFitnessPal as well, which sucks. So I like Chronometer because there's a lot more stuff with it for free. But you're going to need to have one of those. And then you're going to need to have patience, because this could be very quick and easy, where it might only take a month to get up to your maintenance calories, or this might take several months. Who knows? Personally, I did reverse dieting when I lost my 50 pounds. And I did gain a lot of good muscle when I was doing reverse dieting, but it took me about 3.5, 4 months to find my new maintenance. And it's mainly because you're going to be working in 2-week increments. During those 2 weeks, you're going to increase your overall calories by roughly 200-300 calories. So you're not increasing that, every single day. For those 2 weeks, if you're at like 1,500 calories a day, you're going to be going up to roughly between 1,700 and 1,800 calories a day for 2 weeks. You're going to monitor and track your food and calories. You're going to monitor and track your weight. If you are still losing weight during that time, you're then going to increase again by roughly 200 calories. And you're going to keep doing that until you do not lose weight entirely for those 2 weeks, you're completely maintained, or if you gain weight. And hearing those words might be off-putting because you're not trying to gain weight. But the thing is, you are adding in such a little amount of calories that the weight gain is going to be very minimal. And I'm talking like a 1-2% gain. So you might only gain a half a pound, 1 pound at most in that 2-week period. If that happens, you know what you have to do. You introduced an extra like 200 calories, you gained weight. All right, so let's take about 100 calories, 200 calories down and repeat the 2 weeks. If you end up staying where you're at, you found your maintenance calories. If you end up losing weight, then you know that you have that little bit of wiggle room. You can choose, all right, this is going to, like, the lower side of calories is going to be my new maintenance, because maybe then if you're doing that, you could have a little bit more leeway, right? Or you can go up and be like, I'm okay with gaining that 1 pound. I could always increase a little bit of activity, or you can just do it for another 2 weeks and see if you do gain weight again. If you don't, awesome. If you do, go from there, but this eases your mind a lot because you were dieting for a good long time. So you're used to that meal and food restriction. You're used to eating a certain amount. Visually, you know how much should be on the plate of whatever you're eating. You've had it multiple times before. You can eyeball it pretty quick. So trying to increase food can be very off-putting and daunting because you just put in a lot of hard work for a long time. You don't want to see any changes in it. So it's a good way to introduce a little amount of food over a good period of time so you can mentally get used to it. 200-300 calories isn't much. That's simply an extra snack in the day. Or having a little bit more carbs or fats in one of the meals, right? Introducing more bread or introducing a little bit more pasta or having whole peanut butter rather than, the powdered peanut butter kind of thing. Stuff like that. You can enjoy that a little bit more and you can see like, okay, I can eat this and I'm not going to gain weight. In fact, I'm still losing weight. I'm still losing fat. I'm still building muscle. I'm still feeling amazing. I can see my body changing. This is also going to be very beneficial for your hormones because you're not introducing a lot of food at once. You're allowing your body to start to absorb those calories, absorb those nutrients, the both macro and micro, and utilize them more properly, right? So you can start to balance hormones because your body always wants to be in that nice steady state, right? Where it's basically like the Force, right? There should always be like one Jedi, one Sith, right? It needs the balance in the Force, and that's what the body's constantly trying to do. So by introducing the calories slowly, it starts to be like, okay, I'm starting to receive a little bit more. This is what I can do with it, and it just becomes more efficient, right? So you can start to see an increase of energy. You can start to see an increase in a positive sleep pattern. You can see an increase in the gym, in your physical activity overall, and even just in an emotional state as well. So not even just more energy on, oh, I could do stuff, but more energy into just having a little bit more pep in the step, right? So you're going to see a lot of great benefits to it. And over time, this is going to be the new norm because you're in such a stressful state for so long that it's hard. You start, dragging your feet. You might not be as sexually active. You might be kind of depressed mood, constantly, like you might have some constant hunger depending on if you're doing this more natural or if you are receiving any type of medical assistance kind of thing. So it's a good thing to introduce them slowly. Yeah, it's going to be a small amount. You're going to be introducing some food. You're going to be feeling very good, very positive about it. And you're going to have more of a positive connection to food now. And then you start to learn more about your body too, because if you do start to gain weight, you're like, okay, yeah, like I don't have to eat that much. I'll just dial it back a little bit. I'm still feeling good. This is where I should be at. And you're just going to have that emotional connection. And like I said too, if you do gain weight, it's going to be a very minimal amount. So it's not like any of your hard work is gone to waste kind of thing. It's only like simply half pound, 1 pound. It's like a slap on the wrist. The biggest thing is saying like, okay, that I know what happened. I know what I did. Let's go back to it rather than, well, I failed. Going to keep going. And when I'm reading a lot of the negative reviews about reverse dieting, I feel like it's also written by people that did not put this into practical stance, right? Where I've gone through it, I enjoyed it. I talked to a lot of my past patients and my past clients like, hey, this is what worked for me. This is the reason, just like I'm telling you now, I had better connection with food. I had a better connection with myself, and I had better understanding with how everything works. And I told them like, these are the positives of it all. What do you think? 9 times out of 10, they absolutely loved it. We went through it. They saw positive changes, positive effects, and they absolutely loved it. Like I said, some of them, it took about a month to find their maintenance calories, just like 1 or 2 increases. Other ones, they're pretty active in the gym. They have an active lifestyle. They were doing it for quite a while. So it took long to get to that maintenance. I would say that's the biggest con. It's up in the air on how long it could take. So that could be kind of off-putting on some people. Other times, the other con is you do start to eat a little bit more. And by doing that, it's very easy to start to binge and get into that yo-yo factor. So it is good to really have that monitoring system of having a coach on your side, utilizing your tools of the scale, whether it's the smart scale or regular scale, and then also utilizing the tool of the meal tracker and everything. Um, so yeah, I honestly absolutely love reverse dieting. Um, and the other positive side to it is if you are working with a coach, like for me, I do really try to make sure that, like obviously having a big push on protein, making sure that everyone is maintaining as much muscle as possible as they are losing body fat. So we're doing circumference measurements. We're doing, if possible, bio electrical impedance testing. So, you know, smart scales and things like that, like in body or anything at home that you could pick up. Not necessarily worried about the accuracy, but more worried in tracking the pattern, right? Um, so you got protein down. So as you're going through reverse dieting, you get to have more of those, fun foods. You get to have a little bit more peanut butter, a little bit more bread, maybe a little bit more fruit or pastas, or cook it with a little bit more oil, or switch from like skim milk to a whole milk kind of thing. And start to enjoy things. And that's where your cooking style can change a little bit more too. So it's really great. I'm sure there are a lot more cons to it, but I just can't think of any. And that's only because I've worked with the general population for such a long time now that I see it change people's lives in a positive manner, and not only maintaining their goal weight, but having a healthier uh, connection with food and with themselves, where they're not beating themselves up. It's less likely to have a yo-yo effect, and they are having a much healthier time and a healthier body through it all. Their body is just accepting a lot more of the food, and like I said, they're seeing more positive impacts in the gym. They're having a lot more energy, so it's easier for them to even just go to the gym. They're putting in a lot more intensity in the gym. They're lifting heavier weights because they're having a little bit more carbs and healthier fats. So they're beating PRs. They're making new records. They're becoming even more active outside the gym. Maybe they're walking a little bit more, or they're playing with their kids a lot more because one, they got down their goal weight's a lot easier. They have a lot more energy to do it too. Or they're just going out for walks like with their dog. They're like, fuck it. It's nice out. I got nothing to do. I'm feeling good. Let's just go out and do it. And that's going to also come down to having a more positive outlook on life, because they're going to have a lot more energy. Their hormones are in a better balance. So they don't want to just sit around and veg all day. They want to get up and do something. I've even seen people where they started to enjoy a lot more of their hobbies, just because they're feeling so good. They're coming out of that deficit rut, and not only are they extremely happy and proud of what they have accomplished, but they're happy and excited because they're still maintaining it, and they're just feeling good. So yeah, they're playing games a little bit more. They're going out and being a little bit more sociable. They're doing a lot more or painting of their figurines, cosplaying. And even sometimes people are going into this because they're wanting to cosplay, right? They feel like they can't cosplay due to just how their body is. They don't feel comfortable going into some of these characters. Now they do. They're building up that hobby. They're learning more. They're enjoying life. And when it comes down to it, just like in past podcasts and posts and everything, it's all about consistency on it. And I feel like reverse dieting helps with the consistency aspect of it all. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing drastic. You are simply doing what you've been doing for such a long time, just in reverse, right? You started, like when you are first starting to lose weight, it's not like you do this drastic thing of I'm going to be cutting 800 calories. You're going to be cutting calories slowly at a time until you start losing weight. You're feeling like, all right, this is good. This is where I want to be at. And you maintain that. It's just the opposite. You start to add calories. That's why this is called reverse dieting. You start to add calories slowly until you're maintaining weight. You're feeling great. Or you're just losing very little bit amount of weight so you can have a little bit more leeway. Um, but yeah, it helps really set up that sustainability where you're not doing anything too drastic. You're not doing anything too crazy. You're catering it more towards your lifestyle. And that's the other thing too is a lot of people that complain about this, they don't take into consideration that everybody's lifestyle is completely different, right? So by doing these small steps and taking 2 weeks at a time to make sure that it's a pattern, it not only is working with you personally, but it's working with your lifestyle of your work, your hobbies, your family, and then your free time too. Because I have a lot of people too that they're going hard in the gym simply to try and get down to their weight goal a little bit quicker. And they tell me up front that, once they hit it, they are still going to be they're still going to be going to the gym to maintain their health, but just not as much. So when they dial back and they start to increase these calories slowly at a time, they have a little bit new and a different lifestyle from before. And by adding those calories in, they can find their new maintenance for their new lifestyle. Where if you try to add all in at once, it's rough. It could be way too much where you could gain 2-3 pounds back in the 2 weeks. And you could feel bloated. You can feel weighed down. You can be feeling frustrated. It's because you're being told, oh, you have to add another like 800, 1,000 calories in. With that might not be true anymore. It might be a little bit more, or it might be a little bit less, all depending on how your new lifestyle is because you hit your goal. And the lifestyle of losing weight and the lifestyle of maintenance can be completely different. Like I said, I had plenty of people where they were in the gym hitting the weights, hitting cardio pretty hard because they had a deadline that they wanted to meet. They hit it. They're like, all right, I'm still going to be going to the gym because I want to maintain the muscle. I want to maintain my cardio health. But instead of going 6 days a week, I'm going to drop down to 4. And I'm going to be going an hour and a half rather than 2.5 or 2 hours kind of thing. So their activity goes down, or they still go out for walks or something like that. So yeah, I feel like reverse dieting, it helps you adjust to a whole new lifestyle of maintaining your goal weight, the lifestyle of your activity, and helps set a more positive connection between you and food, more positive connection between you and your body, and you just start to understand a whole lot more. And it also gives you a lot of data and information. So if you do need to lose weight, because, I feel like it's inevitable, you're going to be gaining 5-10 pounds at some point in your life because of vacations, hardships in life through either relationships or death, anything like that. So you have this data on hand and you know what to do with it. It gives you that education, that experience, and that information. So you can take control and be able to do it again easily, hopefully, even just on your own, or you could seek out a coach and be like, this is what I did before. Help me stick to that. Yeah, like I said, I wrote a nice blog about this and kind of went through a little bit more of some meal strategies and things like that. On the blog itself on my website. So I'll have this linked in the video description if you're watching this, as well as the podcast description if you're listening to this. So you have all the information on hand. So I really hope this helps clear the air on it. I'd love to hear more about if you've done reverse dieting and what you thought of it. As well as any type of people that are against it. I'd like to hear your viewpoints as well on why you don't think it's a good thing, or why it didn't work for you, and what did work for you, as well as what you think is a better source. simply because this might help other people. It might help me, and I might be able to have a little bit more equipment in my toolbox for other clients that don't want to do reverse dieting. So, yeah, let me know on if you liked it or didn't, and what you think it might be a better viable option. But what I'd also like to talk about next is fucking Nintendo. Because as everybody knows, with the podcast, I try to talk about health and fitness one portion, nerds the other portion. Sometimes flip-flopped. But yeah, I want to go and talk about Nintendo really quick because I feel like this is a pretty hot topic and I'm majorly conflicted on it. So Nintendo in the past week, 2 weeks, I think it's been now, they've released information about Switch 2, future games, future accessories, and things like that for their new line of gaming, right? So I do have a Switch. I love the Switch. I don't play it as much as my computer simply because the reason why I got the Switch was for just a particular set of games. All the other games, they're on PC, so I just get them on PC. Or I wait because I know they're going to be on PC and I'll just wait. I have the patience for it. But yeah, I don't have the Pokemon games. I don't have Advanced War or Animal Crossing on PC. I'm sure I could get emulators for them, but I'd rather have them on Switch. And plus, now I have a portable gaming system, which I like. I didn't see the need of getting a PC portable type gaming system like Steam Deck or anything because the Switch, the OLED Switch that I got was a lot cheaper. It was like $150, $200 cheaper. And I was like, I'll just get that. I was very excited to hear that Switch 2 was coming out, that there was going to be a lot more games. They were introducing a new line of games, and I thought it was going to be very comparable to the regular Switch and just a better upgrade on things. And there's definitely a huge upgrade on things, but it's creating a lot of waves because of the price. And the price, I can see why it is what it is, but it's also very hard to grasp because, yeah, it's $450 for the base, $500 for the system with the new Mario Kart. And that's something we'll be talking about too. The way that I look at it is, yes, it's handheld and it's a great system. And there's a lot more that goes into it technologically, right? To make it a handheld system that can play a lot of these games. But to see that $450 where an Xbox Series X or the PS5, they're going for, I think, $450 as well. So to have some massive consoles that are that powerful to be the same price as a Switch 2. Now, granted, when Switch 2 is in the docking, you get, or the dock and you're playing it through that, you could get 4K and like 120 frames per second, I believe it is. Awesome, amazing. Truthfully, I don't know too many people that do play it in the dock. I know so many people that just play it as a handheld system. I feel like maybe multiplayer, so if you do have a lot of friends over or you're playing it with the family, yeah, since it is supposed to be more for that. But I just don't know too many people that do. It's mostly handheld. So yeah, the price, I just can't justify it fully simply because the price is comparable to a console that is, I feel, 3 times more powerful, right? Because of just the game, like the games that can be ran on PlayStation 5 and Xbox X, the quality of it is just amazing. Maybe like the Switch 2 can supposedly run the same games, but I feel like the quality is just not going to be the same. Like, let's look at when Hogwarts Legacy came to the Switch. Yes, Switch is not a next gen console like Xbox or the PS5, but it was delayed, I think, or it came out 2 years after it originally came out because they had to pretty much recreate the game for it. And I feel like they're going to have to do a lot of that. Supposedly, Red Dead Redemption 2 and the Master Chief Collection is coming to the Switch too. And they said that you don't have to really make any changes, that it should be fully playable, right? And you should be able to receive the same type of quality. Yes, they're older games, so they should be happening. So we'll see how it is. But yeah, I just can't justify spending $450 for a handheld system like that. Where if I was going to be spending $400 or more, I might as well just buy one of the handheld PlayStation systems and just run emulators on it, right? Um, the other part that is just absolutely crazy is some of the extra stuff that they put in where I feel like no one's gonna use. So part of it being their new controller dongle things, the sides are gonna be usable as mice. One, I picked up my Switch controllers and I held them like a mouse and it was just extremely uncomfortable. Like, is it usable and doable? Sure, but I'm not using it any long term. Two, I don't know any games outside of um, any of the Mario games really that can use it. And that's only because those are massive Nintendo games and they're going to push to use that type of technology. But I can't see any other games outside of it using that. I can't see like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or Fire Emblem or anything using the controllers as mice. I just can't. Maybe they'll try, but I feel like it's going to be a flop. Just like with I think it was PS3, maybe PS4, can't remember, where they had the touchpad on the controller. I only know of one game that ever used the touchpad on the controller. I don't know many games that did. It was kind of a flop, and they pretty much did away with it. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of those that was just a useless feature that they're going to try and push for, and it's going to be never used again. The other one is the cameras. They're introducing their own chat system, which is awesome, phenomenal. Basically like their own Discord, and you're going to not only have voice chat, but you're also going to have video chat, which is pretty awesome. But the camera quality is pretty sucky. And then if you get some of the special edition cameras, like the mushroom, the piranha mushroom thing from Mario, it's worse quality, but you're paying more for it simply because it just has a different shell. So you're paying, I think it's like $40, which isn't bad, but the camera, my regular webcam cost me $40 and I'm getting 1080p with up to, I think it's 60 frames per second in certain qualities. Normally it's just 1080p with 30 frames per second, where I want to say they're getting 720p for 30 frames for the regular one. And then if you get the special edition one, it's even worse. Insane. The controllers are now $90. And that was the biggest complaint of just Switch 1, is that the controllers were so expensive and the stick drift was terrible. Luckily, I never have any stick drift, but I also think that, it's not my primary console, so I'm not playing it as much as other people. Where, yeah, the stick drift was terrible. A lot of people weren't going to be buying these new ones that were, yeah, $70+ kind of thing. And they went and bought, you know, uh, off-brand stuff, and it was cheaper. It was half the cost, and it was a lot more durable. And some of them, they're a little bit chunkier, so they're more comfortable in the hand. And I know Nintendo knows this, that a lot of people are buying them because they have eyes and ears everywhere. They sue the shit out of companies that, are semi like going against the grain and pretty much stealing money from them in ways. So yeah, they sue them, and you would think that they would make these controllers a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more durable and maybe keep the price, but no, they decided to add in a useless feature, probably hopefully not have better stick drift, and they up the price because of that feature. Um, I think it's just a dumb move. I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of games that use that feature. It's a little bit more fun and easier than what it seems like now, but we'll see. Um, the other thing, and I feel like they're taking this from Ubisoft, is they're raising the prices of their games to, not all their games, but majority of like the big games to $80, which is insane because Ubisoft, at least they're doing what, $70? They're going from $59.99 up to $69.99. And again, I understand prices are going to be going up. They're going to be having better quality compared to Switch 1, yada, yada, yada. But again, Nintendo is notorious for having absurd prices. There's games out now, like the first Breath of Wild Zelda game, right? For the Switch. The very first Zelda game for Switch. It's been out for God knows how long now, but they're still selling it full price. No sales. Like every once in a while there's a sale and it'll drop down to like 50. Absolutely fucking insane. Even used, they're still expensive. Like I'll go to GameStop, I'll go to Disc Replay, I'll go on eBay, and they're still outrageously priced. It's stupid, and it's because the fans they they care about it, but then they don't care because they're still going to do it. Where some of the other consoles, they'll bully the shit out of Sony, they'll bully the shit out of Microsoft, and they'll do stuff about it. Look at what the community did for Helldivers 2, and look at what the community did on, what was that stupid ass vampire game from Microsoft, Redfall. They bullied them so much that they're like, yeah, this was a terrible fucking game. They closed it. They're like, this was terrible. Sony, they got so much blowback with Helldivers 2 that they ended up doing it in a sneaky way, and they still lost a lot of fans, but they got bullied so much that they changed the game in a positive manner in a way. The fans for Nintendo, I feel like they'll never do anything like that. And again, it's just because it's a big family entity. It's not hardcore, quote unquote, gamers like they do with PlayStation, Xbox, and even PC. So, but I'm still excited for it because, again, supposedly the Master Chief Collection is going to it. Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to it. They're going to be getting a lot more games. It's supposed to be a lot more powerful, and it's going to be a lot more comparable as an actual console and be able to compete, hopefully, against the Xbox X and PlayStation 5, especially for that price range. Will I be getting it day one? Absolutely not. I'm still comfortable with my Switch, and if they still come out with some of the Pokemon games and stuff like that on regular Switch instead of Switch 2, I'll be living on it. But if they don't, then maybe I'll start considering it earlier than not. There has been some blowback too on the game upgrades, because if you own the game and you want to get up to like the Switch 2 like visuals and everything, you'll have to pay $10. I don't think that's a bad deal. A lot of people are complaining and him and hawing off over it, but yeah, you own the game, but you're doing a pretty massive upgrade on it, hopefully, right? You're going to be getting better frames per second, you're going to be getting better visuals, and you're going to be just getting a smoother game overall, right? So yeah, it's the same game, but it's going to be updates on it. And it beats out, having to rebuy the game entirely, like how some of the new games are coming out, the new remakes and everything, right? So I'm okay with that. I'd gladly pay it for some of the games that I play a little bit more frequently. I'm like, yeah, I want the upgrade. I play it a lot. I want to have the better visualizations. like update the entire like library? Absolutely not. But yeah, 2 or 3 games for sure. Um, I'm probably one of the very few that are excited for the Donkey Kong game to come out too. I've always liked Donkey Kong, more so over Mario. To be honest with you, like some of the old like actual Mario games, I like Donkey Kong more. I feel like there was just a little bit more challenge to it, and it was a lot more fun in my opinion. So I'm kind of excited for it to come out. A little bit more open world. There's a lot more to do with the environment. So this seems pretty fucking great. Mario Kart looks pretty awesome as well. They're kind of going like along the lines of like Forza Horizon kind of thing, which is kind of cool. So they're doing some good like steps forward in their game development and everything. I think if prices weren't an issue, this announcement would have been probably the coolest announcement ever. It's just that the prices, they're a big issue, especially with the tariff situation going on right now. They even delayed the release in the United States, I believe, because of the tariff situation. And God knows what the prices are going to be after it all. Um, so that's the thing. Even just, the job environment and uh, the economy environment overall, it's rough. And we're paying $6 for a fucking dozen eggs. Last thing we want to do is spend 450, $500 before taxes and before possible tariffs on a game system. So um I don't think Nintendo will take too big of a hit if they do take a hit at all. I think it still will be a pretty successful uh, sale on it. I think they're going to be doing some really big marketing pushes on it just because of all the negative feedback that is happening. So I'm kind of excited to see what does happen. And I am still very excited and very happy that Switch 2 is finally out after so many years of teases and speculations and things like that. So it's great to get some clarity. Um, and the other thing that I want to talk about before wrapping up is the Devil May Cry series. I watched the anime on Netflix. If memory serves me right, it is by the same makers that did Castlevania, and Capcom was heavily involved in it as well. And it is to me, a huge hit. I absolutely loved it. I know a lot of people did because it received some amazing ratings and watching, and even watch numbers and everything like that day one and week one, so much so that it got greenlit for season two, which I'm happy with because the end of season one was a massive cliffhanger. So if they didn't get greenlit for season two, I'd be fucking pissed. But the anime was absolutely amazing. It was also really, really cool that they have the voice actor of Dante from the games, which I can't remember his name, but he is the Red Ranger, or no, the Black Ranger from Power Rangers. But yeah, they have the same voice actor from there, from the games in the show itself, which is awesome. And the artwork was amazing, typical 2D animation, and especially since I want to believe it's still the same drawing cast of uh, Castlevania, and then with the Capcom influence, it was beautiful. They did have some 3D type effects in it, which is really cool, where I'm seeing a lot of anime kind of turn to. Some animes do a little bit too much on it and too overboard, where I just don't think it translates to my eyes that well. It feels weird. Um, but they did lean into it a little bit, and the ways that they did it were artistically amazing with the fight scenes on it all. So it was just, it was perfectly accented into it. The music was on fucking point with it, just like the games. Amazing music, amazing soundtrack. The sound quality was fantastic. The art was amazing. The storyline was fan fucking tastic. Let me tell you, the villain that was in it was creepy as fuck and evil as shit, and it was also done in such a humane way where you felt very connected to the villain. You felt, at first you're like, oh shit, he's an asshole, definitely a villain. But then as the story progresses and you learn more of his backstory, you're like, oh fuck, I could see that happening very easily. And is he truly a bad guy? So if you haven't watched it yet, watch it, because the story arc of both the good and the bad, fantastic. And it definitely leaves you questioning a lot of um just life. Honestly, just life. But they left the series off on a really good cliffhanger, where they need to do season 2, because if they just cancel that, that is just some fucking bullshit. But they greenlit season 2. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait for it to come out, since it was greenlit and they didn't already start making it and everything. I feel like, yeah, it won't come out for another like 2 years, just like Castlevania. But once it does come out, it'll be nice and streamed, where they can do the entire series continuously and work on it continuously without any worries, and be able to come out in a yearly fashion. But absolutely amazing anime, absolutely amazing show. I know I might get some grief for calling it an anime because it was American made and everything, but since Capcom did work with them directly with it, and they have the like a lot of the cast from like the games and stuff, I feel like it can purely be called an anime, right? It's still the same style, still the same lore, still the same love and attention, so why the fuck not? Um, but absolutely amazing show. I honestly give it a 10 out of 10. One of my favorite animes. I already rewatched it, and just to kind of look into anything that I did miss. And it was so good that it made me download Devil May Cry 5 and start playing it, because I haven't played the games since Devil May Cry 2. So I skipped 3 and 4, went straight to 5. Kind of confused. I'm okay with it, but I just want to start playing it again. It was on sale. I said, fuck it, I'm buying it. Thank you, Steam. Got it for like $7, and I started playing a little bit of it. And yeah, I'm having a good time with the game. So, if you never played Devil May Cry and you want to get into the series and learn a little bit more of it, I feel like this anime is absolutely amazing for that, because if you did play it and you're a big fan of it, obviously you'll love it, because it'll have a lot of the storyline and like the little Easter eggs and everything from the games. But if you'd never played it and you kind of want to learn about it and maybe get into it, perfect, because it is an amazing storyline into it, and it will kind of drive you into wanting to be Dante or one of the other characters. So yeah, go watch it. If you have Netflix, go watch it. If not, find someone that does and watch it with them. Amazing time. You'll definitely enjoy it. If not, I don't know what to tell you. Get good. Sounds like a skill issue. Stop being a little sissy. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. A little bit shorter of a podcast, and I do apologize for it, but I feel like there wasn't that much to go over. I do want to thank my friend Lara for giving me this idea, because sometimes I think I just can't come up with ideas, simply because I think it might be a little bit too basic, or it might be a little bit too advanced, and I just get in my head. So this was, yeah, amazing idea. And I love her for giving me the idea and just asking the question, and wanting to learn more about it. So reverse dieting, to me, absolutely amazing. Yes, there can be some cons to it, where it can take a good while. Like I said, it could take at least a month to several months. And by increasing calories, it might kind of start to push people into a binge. So you do have to be careful, but I feel like the positives completely outweigh the negatives. You learn more about your body, you learn more about your hunger, you learn more about food, you have a better connection, positive connection to food as well as yourself, and you'll let your body heal itself in a good natural way and start to come into a good balance. Um, And yeah, let me know what you think of reverse dieting, if you've done it, if you were successful, or if you found a different way, a different approach to maintain your body weight goals and your aesthetic goals after coming off of a deep diet. Um, and yeah, very excited for Switch 2. I know I kind of harped on it a lot, but I think it's just honestly more of a price issue. Um, uh, I understand a lot of the technology that goes into it, and I understand that yes, they do have to compensate for it, but I also know that Nintendo is a very greedy fucking company, so it's weird. But still very excited for it to come out. Excited to see what the marketing does because of the uh, negative effects that the price announcement has brought, as well as the tariff situation is going on. So excited to see how they handle all of it. And then also, yeah, check out the Devil May Cry series on Netflix. Had a great time watching it, and I loved it and got me back into the game. So, thank you so much for listening. I hope you had a great time. And make sure to go check out the blog of Reverse Dieting on my website. I'm going to be a lot more active with the blogs, as well as a lot more active on making reels and videos for the podcast itself. So check me out on YouTube, check out the podcast, give me a like, give me a follow, and just have a wonderful time, guys. Yeah, so this is Coach Garrett, your DM to slaying the dragons of nutrition, as well as traversing the battlegrounds of fitness and health. Give me a shout out, I guess, if you own a podcast and like my podcast. I'd appreciate that. Share it with your friends and family, and reach out to me if you have any questions and need any help. Follow me in the Discord too. But have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Drink your water. Drink your creatine. Keep being badass.